I just want to give a wee quick word on self-blame. I deal with an awful lot of people who have been sexually abused, and self-blame, shame and guilt are three stumbling blocks that the person finds is very difficult to overcome. So I want to break it down and make it really simple and easy to understand. If I do something wrong on somebody, say I'm in a bad mood and I do something wrong on somebody, and I call them a name, and in that moment I hurt their feelings, okay, because of my bad temper, right? A half hour later, if my conscience is functioning properly, if I'm alert to my alarm system, the alarm system that God gave us, if my conscience is functioning properly, my conscience will say to me, you need to apologise to that person because that person didn't deserve that. And so what I do is, I go to the person and I say, please forgive me. The person forgives me, and then that's it. It's done. It's been dealt with. If I call someone a name as an example, and that person says to me, but you've hurt my feelings, and what I do is I blame them for me having hurt their feelings. It's your fault that I'm calling you all the names under the sun. It's your fault that I lifted my hand and hit you. It's your fault that I abused you. It's your fault that I destroyed your belongings. If I blame that person then begins to carry the blame that belongs to me. And so the person comes into agreement with that. They're coming into agreement with a lie. And so what they're doing is they're carrying a burden that does not belong to them. And so they do battle with it and they don't know what to do about it. But it was never theirs to begin with. And so what ends up happening is they're doing battle with this self-blame. And they're trying to weave their way through life with this self-blame. And they're trying to work their way into hope. Because that's where growth is. That's where life is. That's where light is. That's where peace is. That's where joy is. And so they're trying to make their way into hope, but they're carrying a massive lie. And lies do not exist in hope. You cannot carry a massive lie into hope, because in hope is only truth. And so if you want to make your way into hope, you need to start to deal with lies. And you need to start to deal with deception. So if you've come into agreement with self-blame for something that somebody did on you, you need to stop. And you need to forgive yourself for carrying somebody else's burden. For carrying something that somebody else should be corrected for. You need to forgive yourself for doing that, because it doesn't belong to you. If someone does something wrong on you, if 200 people do something wrong on you and you are blaming yourself, it's a trap, it's a snare, it is hopelessness, and it is destruction. So you need to forgive yourself for doing that. But once you begin to forgive yourself, if you want to move on to hope, you need to forgive them. I'm not saying that forgiving other people is the easiest thing to do, because it's not. It's difficult. But unless you do it, you're going to remain in hopelessness, because unforgiveness belongs in hopelessness. Joy and unforgiveness cannot coexist. Self-blame and joy cannot coexist. So I hope I hope that this helps you to understand that if you're carrying if you're carrying self-blame when somebody else deserves the blame, if you're carrying guilt that belongs to somebody else, if you're carrying shame that belongs to somebody else, you're going to do battle with it for the rest of your life unless you actually give it back to the person that owns it. Listen, I hope this message meets you well, and I bless you. You're loved by God, and I just pray that He pulls the scales away from your eyes and opens your heart. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.